Welcome back. Today we are studying more on radicals, and today we're going to see how radicals are related to exponents. Your topic or title for today is Radical and Exponential Form. And by the end of class, you should be able to say, I can use the properties of exponents and definitions of nth root to rewrite a radical term as a term with a fractional exponent. This is a radical term. This is a term with a fractional exponent. So we're going to start off with the radical form, the square root of 25. And you would never leave square root of 25 as an answer because we know the square root of 25 is 5. But we're going to practice rewriting that in exponential form. We know the exponent on our 25 is a 1. It's an understood 1. And we also know that our understood root in a radical is a 2. So when you get ready to do from radical form to exponential form, I want you to think about this little flower up here. The flower is above ground. So the flower is on top. It equals, or it is our power. So we're thinking flower power. The ground is like the division part of the fraction. And the roots down here, we're going to say the root actually equals the root in exponential form. So when we come over here to change this to exponential form, we're going to take our base, which is 25, and the flower equals the power. So our power is 1. It's above ground. And our root, there's the ground. The root equals the root. So 2 comes down here, 25 to the 1/2. We're going to take a second here, and we're going to look at the square root of 25 and 25 to the 1/2 in our calculator to verify that they both equal 5. So here is our Desmos calculator. I've already got the keyboard open. I'm going to choose the square root symbol, and I'm going to type my 25 in there. We already knew the answer to that was 5. But now I'm going to write it in exponent form, so 25. And I will choose a to the b. 25 is my root. I'm going to choose a to the b. You can see 25 to the 1/2 equals 5. So I just wanted to verify that with you with some technology calculations, that the square root of 25 is the same as 25 to the 1/2 power. So let's take a look at another example, because you're going to need to be able to go back and forth from exponential form to radical form. So I've got a base of 36. My exponent is 1/2. Remember, 1 is the flower power. Flower is the power. So 36 to the 1 power, or first power. And we know from past experiences, you do not have to write that 1. And then 2 is below ground. It is the root. The root is below ground, and the power is up like the flower power. So here's our 2. So radical form, exponential form. These two equal the same. In this case, we know the square root of 36 is 6. 36 to the 1/2 is 6. Anytime you can simplify, if it comes out to a whole number, you do want to do that. Now we're going to try this with a variable. So here's our flower power. So the power is the top part. Then we have the ground, and then we have the root. So my ground is a little high up right there. Here's the ground. Power over the root. So I've got x, which is my base, my power, 2, flower power, and my root equals the root. So the third root, or the cube root of x to the second, is x to the 2/3 in exponential form. right? So here's one in exponential form. We're going to change it back to radical form. X is my base. Flower power is 1. Root is 4. All right, I actually have 3 on this page. I have 2 in exponential form and 1 in radical form. So I'm just going to go from top to bottom, kind of back and forth. So remember, flower is the power. That's the top of the fraction. Then you have the ground, and the root of the flower equals the root of the radical. X is my base on my first example. So X is going under my radical. The flower power on top is 1, and the root equals the root goes here in the radical. Reversing that, I still have a base. So my base is K. My flower power is 7. My root is 4 from this question over here. I'm going to take this exponent and I'm going to change it to radical. So radical, X is my base, my flower power is 2, and my root is 5. That's what you're going to be doing today, practicing going back and forth between exponential and radical form. So remember this flower power is the top of your fraction, and the root is the bottom of your fraction. So let's take a quick look at what this looks like in Delta Math, because that's where you will be working today. So here is a Delta Math problem, and this Delta Math problem has the 6th root of x to the 5th power. The 6th root, it's really small right there, x to the 5th power. On this question, I don't really need these symbols down here. I'm not going to be putting it back in a radical. I'm going to be changing this to exponential form. So I'm going to put in my base of x in the box. And to get my cursor to raise up, I'm typing Shift 6. My cursor raises up. I put my flower power on top. 5 is my power. Then I'm pressing the slash for divide, and 6 is my root. So that is a practice of changing radical to exponential form. Then you will have some problems that are in exponential form that you are changing to radical. So notice this direction says change it to radical. So you're going to need one of these radicals down here. This first radical is for only if you have 2 as a root. This radical you can barely see, I'm sure, on your Chromebook, right where the tip of my pencil is pointing. There's a little n in there. You're going to use this box if you have anything other than square roots. And I have a 3 for my root, so I'm going to choose that box. And it's going to give me a little cursor so I can put the 3, the root, in there. I'm going to put my x, which is my base, inside. And it is not necessary for me to put the 1 power. Okay, here's another one for radical form. When I'm trying to go to radical form, I'm going to think about my root is 4. Since my root's not 2, I'm going to choose the second choice. I'm going to go ahead and type my 4 root in there. I'm going to put my base of x, and I need to put my 5, my flower power 5 in here, but it's not raised up. So again, I raise that up with Shift 6, and I enter my 5 in there. Okay, this time I have selected one that is asking me to write my answer in exponential form. So if I'm going to exponential form, this is where I'm going to have an exponent instead of this radical symbol. So I will not be selecting one of these. I will be using Shift 6 to get my exponent to show up. So I'm going to type in my base x, then I'm going to do Shift 6 so my cursor goes up. Remember, flower power goes on top, so my power is 2. And then the root goes on bottom. I just use the slash or divide to get to the 3. So your job now is to use your notes that you just took, log into Delta Math, and complete today's assignment.